Hey there, I want to show you kind of the making of the Fuse character sets. I'm going to actually do the lobby music today, and it's very guitar heavy. We had a lot of fun with it. The composer, Stephen Barton's an amazing composer, and he's used me from day one on Apex Legends to play guitar and bass on all of the character sets and everything. So I just want to show you kind of how I work, my workflow, what tools I use, and all that. So basically what happens is, to start the whole thing off, Stephen will send me, sometimes he'll send me kind of a synopsis of the character, and I'll read about that, and then he'll send me files. And the files are usually anywhere from 1 to 10 MIDI files, and maybe anywhere from 1 to 7 stems. And the stems, the main stem is the full mix. I have that right here, stereo mix. And this is basically what he sent me here. So that's MIDI guitar. And Stephen wrote out everything. Pretty much I played everything he wrote, and then he says, then just have fun, and I come up with my own things that I do. Okay, so that's what I'm starting with, and I have the MIDI, and the cool thing about the MIDI rhythm guitar here, I can just, with Logic, I can just click on a MIDI file, hit Command 3, and it pulls up a chart. I'll do a little screenshot of this. Let's see here. We do a screenshot so you can just see a little bit of it here. And so it was just a matter of trying to figure out what I was going to play, what instrument I was going to play. I'm pretty sure I used my Gibson Dove on this. We were going for a really 70s rock kind of vibe. Initially AC/DC, so we did some AC/DC type guitars, and also Led Zeppelin really came into play. And so I was looking at the music, and I determined, you know what, it's probably easiest if I play it capoed. So I capoed second for this. It's So I'm just playing, I'm capoed the second fret, so if I play an A minor chord, it becomes B minor. So that way I can make the B minor chord sound like an open chord. And everything rings out really nice, okay? It almost sounds like it was in the key of A minor. So capo up 2 frets, and that's basically how I play the guitar. So we can hear it now. I double tracked it. Let me solo these 2 guitars here. Okay, so now you're not getting stereo. I don't even have them back left and right, but let me do that. And generally we'll have 5 bars of nothing up front. It's just kind of a standard thing. Very Led Zeppelin-y, Stairway to Heaven, kind of like really reminiscent of really kind of organic 70s sound. Okay, so then, all right, so let me pull up the stereo mix. Now he also sent me stems, so if I wanted to listen to individual stems like the acoustic, the bass, the lead, rhythm, and the drums, I could listen to them, I could mute. If I just wanted to play with the drums and not have any of the other guitars in there, I could do that. That's the beauty of having all the stems, and that's a sign of a good composer that's giving me all the tools I need to be. You'll play, and this is true for singing or playing, you'll play or sing your best when you have in your headphones or in your room everything you need at the right level. So sometimes you want your guitar really loud so it inspires, but sometimes you want to hear the other stuff around you more than yourself, just because you really want to groove with that. So that's where it comes in real handy to have the stems. So, and then I also, like I said, I have all the MIDI for all this. So anything I want to look at, I can do that, and I will print up all those charts. So I've got thousands of charts here. But sometimes they're just a few bars. But basically what I'll do is I'll print up that after I hit Command 3, and I can go to, if I hit Command 6, I can edit the MIDI. You can see that's all the MIDI data. And the great thing about the MIDI data is that if you can see that, and I'll do a screenshot of this as well, you can see that there's different colors, and the different colors are on a spectrum, and red is the loudest or the hardest hit, and then kind of a purple is the softest hit. And usually somewhere in between there. If I pull up, you can kind of see an arc of dynamics through the velocities of the note velocities. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll look at this because it will tell me, see, music notation won't tell me how hard every note should be hit. You can put dynamic markings on charts, and that's no problem, but you would be happy if you wanted it, like this note to be softer and this note to be louder, that kind of thing. You really wouldn't naturally have dynamic markings on every individual note. That would be almost impossible to read. But I can get it kind of a lay of the land by looking at how this, the MIDI on here all kind of lays out how hard it is here. You can tell it's going to be louder because it's more orange and kind of yellow and orange. And then over here it's kind of blue-green, and you can tell that's the softest of the song. So, but you can also see it here on the note velocity window here. So that's real helpful too. So I'll go through that, and I'll listen to the song several times. Mainly I'll be listening to it on loop while I edit and print up the MIDI. Okay, so I will edit the MIDI. One trick I just learned, I wished I'd learned it a long time ago. In fact, I didn't know it when I did this. There's a little button here that says no overlap, and you click that off, and it gets rid of, because guitar music isn't really, you don't want a lot of ties and holds going out. So guitar music isn't written like that. Usually if it's an arpeggio, you just write those, like it's 4-note arpeggio, like the beginning of this cue. You wouldn't write out that B note tied to another note and then this time. You wouldn't do that. You would just write 4 eighth notes. That's how guitar music's written. It's understood that you want it to ring out. Unless it says like staccato or something like that, or pizzicato. That's just something I learned, and it gets rid of all those extra notes that you don't need. I'm like, oh man, I wish I learned that years ago. I hate those kind of things. I love the fact that it's there, but I hate that it took me 10 years to find it. Okay, so let's get into this some more here. Okay, so we've listened to the guitar, the original guitars, so again, here they are. It looks like I got some bass in here, so let me see. Oh no, the bass isn't in yet. I got some EBOs. So check this out. One of the things I like to do is, and I'll pull up this track and then play an EBO so you can see it. I'm not sure which guitar I used. For most of this track I used, probably should look at the rhythm guitars first, but let's see where they come in. So EBO stands for electronic bow or electric bow, and it's this thing. It's such a great tool. I use it all the time. And I think there should be notes for this. Somewhere there's MIDI for this, but I'm not sure where it is. But basically what you do is you turn it on. You gotta turn it on. And you just straddle it over the string, like that. Now there may not be music for this. I may have actually just played this. And so let me pull up, I did 2 parts of this. I did a high and a low. It sounds like this. Since the 70s. So I'm kind of doubling the rhythm guitar part. Okay. Now, like I said, I think for much of this, I used my SG. So I have a Gibson SG, early 70s Gibson SG. Totally not original at all. And I use that for the rhythm stuff. So let's see. I've got a rhythm guitar here. Let me pull this out, see what this sounds like. Ooh, I'm way out of tune. I'm gonna tune on my time. Hold on a second. So kind of in tune. Gibson's. I spend more time tuning a Gibson than playing a Gibson. So this is the one rhythm guitar part here. Let's listen to what I did. The chords that are written, but I'm kind of adding my own little special sauce in there when I can. And the drums are MIDI drums. Here I mean, they sound great, but here's what those. They sound great. So, yeah, and you can see here the stereo file that is the main mix. So that's one of the guitars. I also did, it says Leslie Les Paul. So I played a Les Paul through a Leslie. Oh, so what amp am I using here? Rhythm guitar. I'm using Guitar Rig, and I think it's called, yeah, Malcolm Rhythm, Black Malcolm, like a Back in Black Malcolm, Angus Young and Malcolm Young, right? And I probably made some adjustments to it. I kind of made it my own a little bit, turned up a mic here or there or whatever. And then I added some Valhalla reverb. I've got the vintage verb, about 2 seconds of that at about 17%. And of course there's a million different settings here, but that's basically just to give it some vibe and make it more fun to play. I always like to have reverb on. I will oftentimes print without the reverb and to send it to the mixer, because the mixer will have better sounding reverbs, or we'll spend more time or want to put a reverb on everybody. And so a lot of times I'll mute the reverb before I bounce. Okay, so here's a Leslie. Let's see what this sounds. Oh, okay, so this is Guitar Rig, plexiglass, but I put looks like a rotary on it in front of the amp. So this sounds like this. Very wet, sweepy kind of. So it's slightly different than a chorus or a flanger. It's like a Leslie speaker spinning. I don't think I changed the speed at all. I could. See there? It's actually really cool. And then notice it. When it slows down, it slows down. So it slows down slowly. So it's going fast and it's slow because the Leslie speaker wouldn't immediately go to speed. It would have to ramp up to the speed and ramp back down. So a good Leslie simulator will do that. Okay, it gets a little. So basically, I'm kind of doubling the acoustic guitar, but I don't think the acoustic guitar's in right now. No. Okay, so what else do we have? I put my Ricky 12 string in here. I think I'm playing basically the same thing on the Ricky 12 string. Again, Guitar Rig. A little bit of gain. I'm using kind of using a Fender Twin mod on this, but I'm putting compressor on it, and I had a compressor on the floor. So I'm double compressing the 12 string. I find that really makes 12 strings kind of pop, and it makes the skinny strings or the higher octave strings kind of jump out a little bit more because they tend to get lost. So I heard that trick years ago, and I've always kind of stuck to it, to put on a couple compressors on a 12 string. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, I had a 12 string acoustic too. Oh yeah, that's kind of doing a lot here. Let's check it out. It's all the way from the front and back, actually. I didn't even notice that. And that really gives us that kind of 70s rock, Led Zeppelin kind of vibe. Now it's kind of getting into the meat of the song and strumming here. Okay, let's see. So let's listen to those. Wait, let's listen to the top with the acoustics, the 2 acoustics and the 12 string. Let's see what those sound like. And the 12 string is a Taylor 655. Really nice 12 string. Plays so easy. Taylor guitars play so easy. Sounds great. Put some reverb on that 12 string. It just sounds so majestic. So anyway, okay, so there's that. What else did I put on? Oh, let's listen to that. Oh, here comes the EBOS. Okay, let me turn off the, no. Okay, we'll go back to that. Solo that, the acoustic 12 string, the EBOS, and then what else do we have? Does the bass come in yet? Not yet. There's some, no, lead guitar. Oh, we got the Les Paul Leslie. Let's do that. All right, let's see what it sounds like. That's the Leslie Les Paul. It's probably this guitar through the Leslie. Let's see, the Ricky 12 string, the acoustic 12 string, 2 acoustic guitars left and right, and 2 electric guitars with EBO. And my EBO sound was pretty clean. And the microphone that I'm using is a Gefell microphone. I've talked about it before. So let's continue on this. Let's see what we got. For an Apex track, this one is like almost 90% me, which is pretty rare. Normally I'm about 10%. But this one, Steven wrote out this whole thing. I mean, this is all his roadmap. These are all his chords and changes and everything like that. Basically, normally I would do more crazy stuff, but in this scenario, oh, I'm missing a guitar here. What is this guitar doing? Oh, it's going too. So we got another rhythm guitar. Let's see. So all of that, we've got a lot of guitars going on, but I'm just trying to fatten it up. A lot of times I'm trying to give them options. So I'll overtrack guitars so they can go, oh yeah, I like this guitar over that guitar. But I think most of this stuff got used, which was pretty cool. I made it really full. Now, I did mention that I actually played keys on this. It's very rare that I play keys, but I thought, oh, you know what would sound really good on this is Mellotron. And so Mellotron is an instrument from the 60s. The Beatles used it, where it's literally, I think, and I'm not really sure, but it's each key on the keyboard has its own tape. So it's like an 8-track tape thing, cartridge. You put it in the keyboard, so you have a C note flute, and then you got, it's like loops. C sharp, D, D sharp, and I think they're individually played, so when So what I did was I kind of just doubled the guitar on this and thought, well, you know, Steven will probably replace it, but he really liked it. And this is a Mellotron that comes with Logic. It's just a Mellotron plugin that comes with Logic. I've got an octave down flute and a regular octave in the middle flute. I could go up an octave. I could go up. nice, but so this is what I went with. You can control the speed of the tape. This is what it sounds like. You can kind of hear we're with unison there. Basically just did dyads, 2-note chords. So that's a Mellotron sample. So he liked that and used it, and I thought that was pretty cool. Got a keyboard credit. Let's see, what else do we have? So we have, coming up, we have some of this middle acoustic here. What's this, a solo of this? This is probably just big, yeah, it's getting ready to go into the, here we go, strum. Big strumming. So I did some solos here. It says lead guitar 1, lead guitar 2. I don't know what that means. Let me pull out here and see what that means. Let me solo this. I don't know if it may be a melody. I think there's a melody here. Yeah, it looks like a melody. I think that's this guitar. So, and I harmonized it. And that was written out. Now there's solos, oh, there's some lead here. Okay, so what is this thing? I don't know if this got used or not. Let's listen to this real quick. It says lead guitar, turn off the amp so it doesn't hiss. Oh no, that got it. A little harmony there. Okay, now here's some guitar solo. Okay, so let's see what I did here. And this is a big gainy sound. And I probably used my G&L on this. So this is going to be like a more modern rock guitar sound. Let's see if I have this up here. It's just big. Yeah, so that's got a lot of delay, a lot of reverb, it's kind of a Soldano with a compressor in front of it, so it's like super gainy. And so that's the guitar solo. Let's see. And so here's, you can hear it. That kind of stuff. That's not something a keyboard player would normally do, something like that. A piano player can't do that kind of micro. So it's kind of fun to do that kind of stuff. It's very idiomatic to the electric guitar. That got used or not there, but I did a pass. It also says big lead. I think I did another solo at the end, so they had options. I always like to give options. I think on one of these, on one of the Apex Fuse, it wasn't character select. I can't remember which one I did, like 5 different passes of the guitar solo. Steven said that they were like, at the offices, they were cranking it and just going, yeah! So it's pretty much, hey, that's what I was going for, that exact reaction. So Let's see. Yeah, this is the other guitar solo. So I wouldn't have both of them. Oh, I think this is the one that got used though. Yeah. I mean, that's also kind of a fun thing to do. That's a fun thing to do too, where you've kind of got that slow speed up, kind of ramp up. In this guitar, I'm not hearing any whammy bar stuff, so kind of sounds right, doesn't it? Then we go to the big outro for the acoustic guitar. Yeah, I don't know if that was in there. Where's that? Oh, that's here. It was a lot of guitars. And a lot of fun. Hear the EBOs again. And I may have rolled off the tone on these. I may have rolled off the tone knob on the guitar to give it a hollow sound, kind of very kind of nasally, not nasally, but kind of muted sound. Like a Harmon mute or something. Some delay on here. There's a lot of stuff on here. Basic Fender amp, compressor delay. I'm using the Logic delay, stereo delay, which I really like. And then more Valhalla room. This is Valhalla reverb. But yeah, there we go. Oh, let me pull that up again. The end. Bass much, but so just looking at this, I can tell you pretty much what instruments I used. I'm pretty sure I used the Gibson Dove, but I might have gone, these might be two different guitars. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll put a Martin on one side and a Gibson on the other. And that way, again, it's kind of one of those things where if the composer goes, you know what, I like the vibe of this guitar better, or I like the sound of this guitar better, I'll just go with one guitar. Rather than go with a stereo thing. But I generally, when I do acoustics, I will double unless it's a very complex part. If it's really complex, it meant to be solo, then I wouldn't. But if it's just strumming or finger picking, especially if you want to try to get that rock, you know, like 70s, 80s, 90s rock kind of sound, doubling is really good for that. And then, let's see, so that, and then I used, more acoustic, 12-string acoustic, the Taylor 12-string. The Ricky electric 12-string, I don't have that out, sorry about that. The rhythm guitar, which I think was primarily this guitar, and then the lead guitar was likely this guitar. I may have got my Les Paul out, but I kind of doubt it. The EBO was, I think, on this guitar, actually. And one of the things I do with the EBO is I really try to use the EBO close to I usually use the neck pickup. I like the sound, it's a little hollower, not so tinny, because this thing can really get bright and kind of like sound like a bunch of bumblebees. So I tend to go with the neck pickup and tend to hover it close to the neck pickup. And if I go over the neck pickup, check this out, like I think it'll work with this guitar. Okay, so there's the neck pickup. So here's the EBO. So if I want a little bit of kind of extra noise, I just go right over the pickup. Thing is, it just keeps the string vibrating. So like the D string is it goes. So that's one of my favorite tools that's just always sitting here on my desk ready to go. I've even got a drawer full of 9 volts. So, and the crazy thing is the guy that invented this is still showing it off at the NAMM show. He's got to be in his 70s, but he invented it in the 70s, and it's just a staple for so many, you know, guitar players. And I played bass, and I think that was probably my Squier 5-string bass. I didn't listen to it, but yeah, and I'm playing with my fingers here. I always prefer to play with my fingers, but if it's too fast of a part, then I will pull a pick out and usually use a very heavy pick like this Gravity 1.5 millimeter pick. All right, well that's enough inside baseball stuff. Hopefully this was remotely interesting to you. I love doing this stuff. It's so much fun, and Steven's such a great composer. I mean, everything I play on his is just top-notch, stellar stuff when I get it. And so it's a real challenge for me to try to add something valuable to it. I'm going to pull up some others. I'm going to show you some other stuff that we do on other character sets, I think, because some of the stuff we do, some of the sounds I create are insane. So we'll talk about that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and take care. God bless you, and stay tuned. I'll do more of these. I really like doing them. Okay, bye-bye.